everyone, my name is Rashida and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, hello, what took you so long to find me? If you are someone who's into just all things femininity, advice, glow ups, all of that, make sure you subscribe because you are going to love it here. I promise you. Don't forget to like and don't forget to comment, okay? Because it does help my channel grow. Let's just dive into today's video, which is all about why the victim mentality is keeping you stuck. And I just want you to think about a time where you have been a victim to the victim mentality. Because I lived in the victim mentality for most of my life. I kid you not, I would blame my parents, I would blame my past boyfriends, and I would blame everyone as to why my life is the way that it is and why I am the way that I am. And a hard truth that I had to learn is that yes, as much as the things that I have been through are true, at the end of the day, I am responsible for my life. And if I keep repeating the same story over and over again, nothing in my life is going to change. And that's why I am stuck. And that's why I feel like I'm reliving the same day over and over and over and over. And if this is you, continue to watch this video so we can snap you right out of it. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I am where I am in life because of my parents. I am who I am because I've been bullied. I've been single for 5 years because every man that I run into are either cheaters, liars, or both. Have you found yourself continuously repeating the same stories to yourself every single day and yet getting the same results? If you have, that's okay, because I used to be that person too. But here is one hard truth that I had to learn. Living in the victim mindset will keep you in the same cycle forever. And to be quite honest with you, it is so much easier to sit in the stories of this person is the reason why I'm like this, that person is the reason why I'm this way, instead of looking at yourself and saying, asking, why am I like this and how can I change it? Because once you ask yourself that question, now it's time for you to take responsibility to stop reliving the same story. And sometimes that is hard because you will probably notice patterns and see a side of yourself that you have been avoiding. Before we get deeper into it, I want to pull up the definition of the victim mentality on Google. So it says, victim mentality is a persistent mindset where a person believes they are powerless, constantly wrong, and unable to control their life. And yes, I get it. We've all been through pain. We all have a story. We all been through some sort of trauma. But that does not need to define who we are. Because when we are constantly reliving a story that we no longer want to be, but we can't seem to break away from, that story ends up becoming our personality. So we are constantly attracting the same energy, the same people, the same circumstances, the same experiences, because that is the energy that we're carrying. And the scary part about it, we don't even realize we're keeping that cycle alive. And for many years of my life, I didn't realize that I was keeping it alive. So let me just give you some examples. I used to tell myself, oh my gosh, I'm sorry if you hear that banging in the background. It is so windy outside. The fan that's over my stove is just, yeah. constantly making that noise and it's very annoying. Please excuse it. So for example, I used to constantly tell myself all men are cheaters, all men are liars. And then when I would get into a relationship, guess who I would end up with? Cheaters and liars. Or I would say to myself, again, I cannot make friends easily because I was bullied, and that has left a scar or some sort of trauma towards me wanting to open up and be friends with other people, because I just don't really trust people or really know their intentions. And guess what? When I would go out in the world, I would be very closed off. I would be very standoffish. And of course, I'm not gonna make any friends because my energy is given, don't talk to me. My energy is given, I don't wanna be here. My energy is giving, ugh, Debbie Downer. So I'm going to attract the experiences that I already feel internally. So I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you have heard, or maybe not heard, of a man named Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he basically says your personality creates your personal reality. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have written out an example that I want to share with you that will help break down exactly what this means, or exactly what this looks like. Okay, so your personality is how you think plus how you act plus how you feel. Your personal reality is the life that you are currently living. So if you want a different life, which is your reality, you have to shift your personality, which is your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. How you think, which is obviously your thoughts. Example, if you are constantly thinking, I'm not good enough, then you'll view opportunities as not for me. And then your reality, you will hesitate, play small, and miss out. How you act, of course, is your behaviors. An example of that is if you believe no one ever supports you, you'll avoid reaching out, networking, or showing up fully, which will result in the reality you'll end up feeling isolated, which reinforces the belief. And then how you feel, which is your emotions, is if you live in a constant feelings of fear, anger, or sadness, that energy attracts experiences that match. And then your reality will look like you'll stay stuck in the same cycle of hurt because you are emotionally vibrating at that level. And if we put this all together now, if your thoughts are negative, then your actions shrink. Your feelings sink low. Your reality stays the same. But when you shift your thoughts to I am capable, your actions change, and then you show up differently. Your emotions shift, and you feel confident, you feel excited, and your reality starts to reflect that new energy. So let's say two completely different women want to start a podcast. The victim mindset girl, her thoughts would be, nobody's gonna listen, I don't have the confidence. So her actions are going to show that she's not really recording, she doesn't really commit, and barely post. And then her feelings are going to be of insecurity, of defeat. And then her reality is going to show that her podcast doesn't have much growth, which proves her limiting belief to be true. And then the empowered mindset girl, her thoughts are going to be, my voice matters, I'm excited to grow. And her actions are going to show her recording consistently, invest in learning, post proudly regardless of the outcome. And her feelings, she's going to be motivated, excited, inspired. And her reality, her podcast is growing. She's getting feedback. She's getting paid for her podcast now. She's getting brand deals. She is building momentum. Same desire, different personality, different personal reality. And if that wasn't enough for you, you have people like Oprah Winfrey, who was abused sexually, physically, mentally as a kid. She got pregnant at 14. Her upbringing was not in her favor to have an amazing life. But here she is, a billionaire. You had Albert Einstein, who was told that he is a slow learner. And now he is one of the greatest minds to have ever lived. So if they let their circumstances determine their future, they will not be who they are today. And I know this may be harsh to hear, but everyone has a sad story. Yes, everyone's story is unique, but at the end of the day, nobody cares about what you went through until you made it till the other side. So here is what I want you to sit with. If God were to drop your perfect partner, the most perfect career, would you be able to handle it? Or are you still living so far in your past, so deep in your past, that you will simply sabotage it? So one thing I want you to remember is it's not about what happened, how it happened, why it happened. Sometimes you will never get those answers. It's how you choose to rise from it. So I'm going to leave you with some journal prompts that I want you to seriously, I'm not joking, okay? I want you to journal some of these things today. Where in my life am I still blaming others? What do I gain from holding on to my victim story? If I took full responsibility, what could change? What limiting belief is keeping me in the same cycle? And how could I rewrite the story if I was the author of my own life? And now I want you to repeat this affirmation with me. I release the stories that no longer serve me. I take full responsibility for my life, and I have the power to rewrite my story into one of strength, abundance, and love. Because again, let me tell you, you did not come onto this earth to live a story full of trauma, a heart full of hatred, a life full of sadness. You came here to evolve. You came here to thrive. But you cannot thrive and you cannot evolve if you are constantly living in a cycle of I am stuck, I am the victim. Do something today that will make yourself proud. I believe in you. I love you. And I hope this video helped you in some way. And if it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if there are any other topics that you want me to go over. So yeah, that is about it. I will see you in the next one. Bye. I wanna be down with